really want you to see is porine. Porine is some kind of protein that have some antimicrobial action. Okay, so the saliva, when we talking about why the saliva, it can protect the dental caries, because in the saliva we have porine. Porine is the property of the porine is just some kind of antimicrobial action. Okay, and immunoglobulin, and immunoglobulin is some kind of antibody that we also the body also protect them. If you in the future, if you think that no, I just want to produce something that's different, น้ำตาเทียม the eye lubrication we can produce, but we still cannot produce saliva. If you can do it, but you have to know about the active. If you can do it, but you have to know about the activity of the saliva, because some certain water, we don't have some kind of mucus too much, but in the mouth we have time. We have time control. If you think about time, when you sleep, your mouth is wet or dry. Dry. But when you start chewing, your mouth is wet. This is the difference, that why some certain thing, some certain enzyme or certain protein didn't produce all the time. Okay, that is the hardest part, that how can we produce saliva. Okay, so I think you already see this part of the palatal gland. I don't have to just kind of keep talking about this, but at least you know that when you open the cadaver, and then you see the structure of palatal, how it look like. เป็นยังไง หน้าตา what how the palatal look like, palatal gland look like. Triangle, inverted triangle, right? ใช่ไหม if you see that, how it look. you need to, because when the structure, the anatomy structure, when we do the palatal gland surgery around here, that is the part that we have to concern a lot about what kind of nerve. Facial nerve, right? And palatal gland, they have two parts. One part is superficial, another part is deep part, right? So we're gonna go to this direction a little bit to see that. Think, if you don't see at the slide, you just think that what is the posterior border of the palatal gland? Can you tell me? เปิดไปแล้ว posterior border of the palatal gland, right? The posterior border, the palatal gland is right here. And if you think about that, you're gonna open to do some kind of, some patient have cancer at the palatal gland here, and you're gonna open it and then remove it. How can, and don't disturb the facial nerve at all. SCM, right? Sternocleidomastoid and what? Mastoid process. And how about the superior? บอกพี่สิ superior มีอะไร ตรงนี้ TMJ, and then what? Huh? If you think about this, is the external acoustic meatus, right? The line of the top part of the palatal gland is right here. When right now, when we do the surgery, at this moment the technology just show you. Have you ever seen the way that uh, the the way that we do the infrared, and then we do the when we do the some kind of the blood drawing, we don't have to. Some nurses malpractice and then do just kind of poke you 1 or 2 times to just kind of get the blood. But right now we have certain technology that we do the infrared and see the heat around there, and we can do the incision precisely. And this is the same thing that but before that, before we reach that technology, we have to know the anatomy first, okay? Even right now, we have some kind of technology to support some kind of surgery, but before you understand that, you have to just mark, okay, you want to do the incision around here. When you mark at the external auditory area, right? And anterior part is what? Can you tell me anterior part? Give me the idea of anterior part of the palatal gland. Kind of. What? Yeah, and what? Huh? Anterior part. Is it ankle or mandible here? Right? And what? Medial helicoid. Where is the medial helicoid? Inside. Masseter is here, and stylomandibular ligament. Where is it? สอบไปแล้วด้วยนะ styloid process to angle mandible, to the angle of mandible. Go back and then try to remember, try to think about this is all the ligament that you need to know all the time. And in the gland, what is inside? โดนพาราติดปั๊บเนี่ยเจออะไรเลย facial and what next? What? Artery and vein. What artery? External carotid artery, and then vein. What kind of vein? What again? Retromandibular vein. We will see. What kind of this vein, right? Yeah, what kind of this vein? And go to this part. Right? Superficial femoral vein, and then we're gonna see that they have retromandibular vein that is very important when you do some kind ofใครdo the wisdom teeth extraction already? Who did it? มีใครชาnumb all the time? No, right? I'm gonna show you that what happens if you do some malpractice and then you may cause injury on the patient, and the patient gonna feel just kind of tingling. I think everyone have some kind of you go to see dentist all the time, right? ใครไม่เคยเจอบ้างใครไม่เคยเจอบอกมัน And have you ever got some kind of anesthesia injection on the lower jaw? How you feel? จำความรู้สึกนั้นได้ไหม How you feel? You numb half of them, right? You numb half of them. But once it's numb, when the surgeon didn't know anatomy well, and when they do some kind of the third molar extraction, and some third molar extraction is very difficult. So I'm gonna explain you how this can happen, and they can cause some kind of stop saliva because of the nerve that's gonna go to supply on this area, okay? And deep to the gland, they have mastoid process, sternomastoid, posterior belly. All of things this is, we're gonna go to the detail a little bit. The blood supply is the external carotid, venous is retromandibular vein, drainage is Then is P auricular lymph node. Auricle is mean ear. Ple it mean before ear. To deep cervical. And nerve supply is secretory motor. This is I'm gonna focus on this and tell you later, okay? I said that we are inferior salivary nucleus calcific. I keep telling, if most of the lecture just tell you this, but if you don't understand it, it doesn't make sense. How you make yourself understand? We're gonna go to this right away, okay? Before we come back to this. I'm gonna go to this first. Glossopharyngeal nerve. What kind of nerve? Nerve number เท่าไหร่ Glossopharyngeal nerve is 9. 9. They have mixed nerve. Mixed it means that it combined between sensory and motor. And then they have parasympathetic. What is parasympathetic do? Yesterday I asked you that what kind of sympathetic and parasympathetic do. Voluntary or involuntary? Involuntary. เดี๋ยวดูตอนนี้ก่อน I want you to focus on this. They have motor, sensory, and parasympathetic. And if you remember that when I talking about embryo, the glossopharyngeal nerve is supplied. It go from pharyngeal arc 3 and supply. And supply what? One muscle that glossopharyngeal supply is stylopharyngeus. Remember? If you go back, this I try to remind you again, okay? It's that only motor that supplies stylopharyngeus muscle. They have sensory. Glossopharyngeal have sensory. That sensory is supplied visceral and somatic. What does it mean? What does it mean? Visceral is internal organ, right? And somatic is just kind of in the body, right? So the visceral, they have two parts. One part is general, and one part is special. Special, what does it mean special? Just kind of certain things like taste, right? So it's sense, it's feeling, but feeling is general, but taste is another feeling that we separate fiber, okay? Think about taste. And somatic is tongue and palate. That is the feeling of sensory, okay? Go to tongue and palate. So, before go that, think about this. I think about when you're talking about brainstem, yesterday you already looked at that. And then you see where is the glossopharyngeal nerve come up. Where is, horn? My child. Glossopharyngeal nerve come from medulla, right? Under the 12 อยู่ตรงไหน Where is hypoglossal nerve? No. When you see the brain, you see the brainstem, right? And you see the pyramid and olive. It's come out between pyramid and olive, right? That is hypoglossal nerve. And how about glossopharyngeal nerve? Under, right? 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11 is go to another lateral part, but under. This I didn't focus on the word yet, but I let you think about picture, okay? So when I talking about medulla and glossopharyngeal nerve, the first one is the motor. The first fiber is they have come out from nucleus, and because you're gonna see this later when you start neuro, but I think most of the professors say this already. It's come out the motor nerve is just keep the fiber pass to the jugular foramen, right? Number 9. Go to the stylopharyngeal muscle. This is glossopharyngeal nerve. And then when I told you already the tongue, the posterior 1/3 of the tongue รับอะไรบอกหน่อยเร็ว posterior 1/3 of the tongue sensory ส่งโดยใคร7 หรือ 9 9ใช่ไหม the sensory general sensory is by 9 so this is just general sensory. If you go back that I try to make the color for you. You see, I made the somatic, okay, the green color, the motor is red. Just go back and then try to figure it out. But I make this, when I make the color, I try to communicate with you that I separate the general test. The general test by the posterior 1/3 of the tongue and palate is go back to jugular foramen and sent to the spinal trigeminal nerve nucleus at the medulla. Okay. So think this is the general sense, and this one, when we talking of special sense, special test, is from the posterior 1/3 of the tongue again, and on the following, this part is the test fiber. Go back. ผ่านคอร์ดาทิมานายไหม Is it past the cauda tympani? This part cauda tympani or not? Did I write it? Did I write down? No, because then it means that most of the tests on the posterior 1/3 go back to the jugular foramen and give the information to the nucleus around here, okay? That we call solitary nucleus. This is I try to communicate a little bit to make you understand that what is happening. And another one, we're talking about the parasympathetic, okay? Right now I'm talking about what I talking about motor already, right? Pass to the stylopharyngeus, go give the action motor fiber to the stylopharyngeus, only one muscle. And then sensory, I talking about they have two sense, visceral sense and somatic sense. That the yellow that I give the drawing for you, and then you go back and take a look a little bit. And parasympathetic. Now I'm gonna go to the parasympathetic way that we're talking about the salivary gland. Because I want you to understand the whole picture. That's why I try to make the picture like this to just kind of communicate to make you understand. So, parotid gland. The parotid gland is receive the information from where? From the inferior salivatory nucleus. This inferior salivatory nucleus give the parasympathetic fiber pass to, you see, all of the nerve 9 is passed to what foramen? Jugular foramen, okay? And pass go to the tympanic branch, go where? Around here, around the ear, okay? Go to the tympanic branch and go to the tympanic membrane. That membrane have the tympanic plexus. This tympanic plexus is give the fiber after past the tympanic plexus. Give the fiber of lesser phytosonar. Have you ever heard this word before? Lesser superficial phytosonar. Have you heard this word before? I think you listen to this quite often. But right now, mix it and then understand. Pass to the lesser phytosonar and go to the foramen ovale. What foramen ovale? What kind of big nerve pass through it? 5-3, and then I'm gonna connect this to you, okay? Once you go to past the foramen ovale, the sympathetic fiber of the parotid gland had to give the preganglionic fiber to the aortic ganglion จำได้ไหมว่า do you remember what kind of preganglionic fiber or parasin pre ยาวหรือโคตรยาวpre มันยาวไหมเนี่ย preganglionic fiber is it long is it parasin I talking about parasympathetic then it mean pre is long fiber and post ganglionic fiber after the synapse in the aortic ganglion give the post ganglionic fiber they give the post ganglionic fiber but have to give to the auriculotemporal where is the auriculotemporal nerve มาจากเนิร์ฟไหน V 5 อะไร auriculotemporal nerve 5 3 เพราะฉะนั้น you see they give the fiber of post-ganglionic fiber to auriculotemporal nerve and go to the palatic gland see the big picture now you see the big picture now okay how the what the parasympathetic do for the saliva secrete or stop parasympathetic secrete okay กระตุ้นให้หลับนะ this is กระตุ้นให้หลับ okay when you feel exciting what kind of autonomic nervous system function sympathetic when you're exciting your mouth is wet or dry ว่าจะสอน dry right so sympathetic is do the opposite way so this is in the normal way they make the saliva relax when it relax the saliva it kept coming out อันนี้เข้าใจหรือยังเข้าใจภาพรวมหรือยังแล้วกลับไปดู go back and go so but before I just so scared about when you cannot pass my exam go back to oral cavity a little bit pharyngeal plexus remember that when I say that when you swallow and something you taste around here the sensation pass to the glossopharyngeal nerve right but the action go back to nerve when you send it the sensory go to number 9 and then go back by number 10 right so I want you to think about this all the following is past pharyngeal plexus and all this kind of nerve pass deep to hypoglossus muscle okay once you go to the lab and then it's the time that I want you to find the glossopharyngeal nerve you figure it out where is hypoglossus muscle okay pharyngeal plexus where is it located at middle constrictor the middle constrictor area is around here sorry not physical the pharynx they have superior middle and inferior the pharyngeal plexus is in the middle okay and most of the motor is supplied by vagus nerve but sensation is supplied by glossopharyngeal nerve okay and they have sympathetic when we're talking about sympathetic and parasympathetic if parasympathetic is supplied by the start from the inferior salivary nucleus so where is the sympathetic เมื่อมันต้องทำงาน it's antagonist right when they work antagonist where is the sympathetic yesterday you figured out already it's superior cervical ganglion where is the superior cervical ganglion I gonna show you later but this time the sympathetic work on the vasoconstrictor vasoconstrictor what does it mean vaso แปลว่าอะไร vaso Huh? Blood vessel constrict เพราะฉะนั้นเวลาตกใจเป็นไงกดบีบถูกไหมบีบนี่คือ superior constrictor vasoconstrictor blood vessel of the falling ทำให้ตรงนี้มันคอยมันตรงนี้มันแห้งลงเลยถูกไหม when the mouth dry and then the sore throat dry this is because of the vasoconstrictor because of the sympathetic working area at this moment okay เพราะฉะนั้นเวลาคนไข้มาเนี่ย neuralgia เนี่ยคืออันนี้พี่ I gonna add on a little bit neuralgia is heart some people just kind of I don't have the feeling of the taste in the back and I just feeling like the feeling is just numb around that area around this area and the patient said I'm hurt in the ear also can happen what do you think is it happen can be happen because it passed through the tympanic membrane okay if you have some accident or some certain part that damage on the glossopharyngeal nerve that is when the patient explain it and then you see okay what kind of nerve happened in there okay I want to show this picture a little bit before you don't understand it. Where is the stylophalanges? I keep telling you where is the stylophalanges. This is the superior constrictor muscle, middle and inferior. You can see the stylophalangeal muscle is passed to along the line of the middle constrictor muscle and then go down this way. You can see this part, okay? You can see the this is the sophyngeal phalanges. After you study phalanx, you're gonna see that, okay? You can see this is a stylophalangeal muscle. You see that? Okay. Go back and take a look a little bit. No. So, nerve supply is by secretory motor. Secretory motor is where inferior salivatory nucleus, right? And go by glossopharyngeal nerve to tympanic branch to lesser pituitary nerve to aortic ganglion and auriculotemporal nerve. Now you understand? You see the picture and you understand? And sympathetic is where superior cervical ganglion and sensation where the auriculotemporal nerve for fascia and great auricular. How about the duct? The duct we use this. If you see the axial ear and you see fluid, the duct is just it's just right here. We call stem cell duct. If you cut through this line, you can damage the duct on the pelvic gland. Okay, the duct that give the right to the pelvic gland. The surface marking of the duct is just right here. You see the intertracheal notch of the ear and the fluid, and this is the line of the pelvic gland. Okay, now we're gonna see the structure of the pelvic gland. ถ้าดูภาพนี้ I cut sagittal section, coronal section, or sagittal section, horizontal plane, and coronal section. What kind of this section I cut? Horizontal, right? When you see horizontal, you think about this. But you're talking about the sternocleidomastoid here, right? This is the bone mastoid process and posterior digastric. You can see this part. You can see that the facial nerve is just go through this area and give the right to this. So the deep surface, they have the carotid sheath here. The carotid sheath, and under the carotid sheath, they have the superior cervical ganglion. Remember, yesterday did you figure it out? Just superior cervical ganglion. Did you see that? So once the carotid sheath, they have the certain part inside. What is inside the carotid sheath? What is inside the carotid sheath? What? They have vagus nerve. They have what? Internal jugular vein and what again? Yes, correct. So then this the carotid sheath. Once you see this, you're gonna see the superior cervical gland here underneath of this one, and this one is the medial thoracoid, mandible, and masseter. Then you can see the stylomandibular ligament around in the back. And the development, I didn't focus on that. Just we're gonna study in the histology later. So I want you to see this word a little bit, okay? The nerve that passed through this. You can see temporal, zygomatic, and buccal, cervical, mandibular, and the vein is lateromandibular vein and superficial temporal vein, right here. And this one is external carotid artery that go through this. So I just make the long story short. We go back to facial nerve. Okay. Because I see the confusion that you when you answer me, so then today I focus on the nerve and make you understand a little bit to see that after you understand glossopharyngeal nerve, now I want you to focus on facial nerve. Facial nerve also have mixed nerve. They have motor, they have sensory, and they have parasympathetic. So the fiber that they give is visceral and somatic, the same thing. But the visceral that they go to is just go to the special. Special is anterior 2/3, okay? And the somatic is the external ear. So this one is a kind of, I do the same pattern. At least you go back and then you can make it, you can review it, and then the model that the facial nerve supply is muscle of facial expression, you know that, and stylohyoid muscle, posterior belly of digastric, and stapedius muscle. Stapedius is where is it? And if you go back to when you think about when I'm talking about pharyngeal arc, which pharyngeal arc that give rise to the facial nerve to and what kind of muscle that the model that they supply. Do you see that? Right? Stapedius. This is all the things that you can connect it. Okay? Okay? And then now the parasympathetic. The parasympathetic is if your facial nerve is totally cut, what happened? What happened? All the gland ไม่เวิร์กเลยแล้วร่างกายเรามีกี่แกลนมีแกลนที่ไปที่ we have the gland go to eyes, we have the gland go to nose, we have the gland go to mouth, but except parotid, okay, at least we still have parotid alive, okay, if the 7 got cut, and it happened a lot because 7 is very complicated, but let's see this one first, okay? All the glands, submandibular gland, sublingual gland, and I'm gonna go focus on this. At least you understand a little bit more. Think in this way. The facial nerve is ตรงไหนอะ? Where is it? Next to the, you see trigeminal nerve, right? You see trigeminal nerve at the point, right? ดึงออกไปไอ้ก้านสมองที่เรานั่งดู Think about the brain stem. The trigeminal nerve is at the point, and cingulate. Where is the abduction? Abduction is at the what border between point and medulla, right? ใช่ป่ะแล้ว7 กับ 8 7 Where is 7? The lateral side, right? Then on the lateral side, in the horn, they have 4 nucleus, the same thing. The nucleus that they have is motor nucleus. Motor nucleus give rise to what? Give rise to what? The motor nucleus is go to what is the nerve 7 go pass through what kind of foramen? Internal auditory meters, right? Right? 7 ออกตรงนี้แล้วไงแล้วออกไปตรงไหนออก stylomastoid foramen pass through the fetus part of temporal bone. If they keep the motor is just go to this and then they form. This one is the motor fiber and this one is superior salivary nucleus. It give the parasympathetic fiber. This one give the special fiber, and this one is the give the what general sensation fiber. I try to use the color, okay, and this one mixed together go to this. Then the black one that I try to connect is go to this kind of thing. What kind of this? What kind of does this nerve go? This go motor, right? Supply the muscle of facial expression, stylohyoid, posterior belly, and then posterior auricular, some kind of occipitalis muscle, and auricularis posterior and superior. So this is the motor, and then another one. Before I go to the submandibular and sublingual, I just try to explain you the 7 nerve right away. So let's think this way. Superior salivary nucleus give the parasympathetic fiber. They have some certain ganglion we call geniculate ganglion. Have you ever heard about this? ได้ยินไหมอาจารย์พูดไหม geniculate ganglion. This ganglion is give the fiber preganglionic and postganglionic. The fiber that they give is one of the nerve is greater superficial pituitary nerve. Think this one first, okay? This greater superficial pituitary nerve gonna give how they give the fiber to the submandibular and sublingual gland. And another one give the fiber after the geniculate ganglion, give the fiber to corda tympani. Corda tympani go where? By the lingual nerve, right? And go to the anterior two-third. And another one give the fiber to the stapedius. Stapedius is the ear, right? So then I decide to explain this way because after greater superior pituitary nerve give the parasympathetic fiber. They have this part. We have the sympathetic fiber pass to the superior cervical ganglion. Give the fiber plexus around the internal carotid artery. And this one, after pass the internal carotid artery, it give the fiber. The name is deep pituitary nerve. The sympathetic fiber. After this, it's combined with the sym and parasym is this way, and give the nerve to pterygoid canal. This one will go to the sphenopalatine ganglion. This sphenopalatine ganglion is gonna give fiber to lacrimal gland, nasal gland, and palatine gland. The palatine gland is the minor salivary gland. We have think about this. We have 3 major salivary glands is what? Palatine gland, submandibular gland, and sublingual gland. The minor salivary gland is whatever that happens in the labial gland, palatine gland, or the minor salivary gland is produce only mucus. Okay? It's produce only mucus. Why the palatine gland is produced serous only, and submandibular and sublingual is mixed. it produces both mix and uh, both mix between mucus and serous. Okay, but usually sublingual it keep mucus more. So think of in this way. One is the give nerve to sphenopalatine ganglion. This part is I try to explain this because otherwise you confuse. So we have the V2. V2 is maxillary nerve. Maxillary nerve give the first fiber is the zygomatic. Remember? And this zygomatic branch it give rise to the zygomatico temporal and zygomatico facial. Zygomatico temporal is the one that get the fiber of parasympathetic go together to lacrimal gland, and we have the first another branch is V1 go to the lacrimal gland also is lacrimal branch of V1, so go to the eyes and then the eye just tear by this branch. Okay, I try to make the big picture for you, at least you can connect it. And the second one, the V2 is maxillary branch, right? The maxillary branch also give the fiber we call sphenopalatine nerve. It's a branch that go with the postganglionic fiber after sphenopalatine ganglion go to nasal gland. ได้ยินคำนี้ไหม nasopalatine sphenopalatine เคยได้ยินไหม sphenopalatine nerve where is it going เฮ้ย incisive canal what kind of nerve come out incisive canal go back and then take a look. Okay, another one is the palatine gland. It's from V2 the same. V2 is maxillary branch, right? Go to palatine gland via the greater and lesser palatine nerve. Where is it? Where is it come out? Greater and lesser. Greater ออกไหน Greater palatine foramen นะจำได้ไหม Greater palatine foramen and lesser palatine foramen it give the nerve to the palatine gland is by via V2. Okay, now think about this chorda tympani. When I talking about the facial nerve after the greater superficial pretorsal nerve give the fiber of chorda tympani. Chorda tympani ไป combine กับใคร lingual nerve is this one, right? Lingual nerve, and then one is combined to keep the fiber to what? Anterior tutor accept the test, right? And then what next? Chorda tympani also keep the fiber go to the submandibular ganglion and give the postganglionic fiber to submandibular gland and give the postganglionic fiber to sublingual by go via lingual nerve again via this and go to sublingual gland ทำอะไรทำให้น้ำลายมัน secrete make the saliva secrete. Okay, now if you do extraction this third molar is very long root and they have some kind of certain root is just hang around the lingual nerve. How can you do it? ไปดึงมันพลึกออกมาเลยถอน extract and what happened? You damage. What kind of damage? Youคนไข้ come back and then I don't taste anything and my mouth just kind of dry a lot before I come to see you. Okay, so this is the thing, and we in your life you can see one of the patient this time if you didn't be aware how you extract the third molar. Okay, this is how I try to explain it. What is going to happen once you do the extraction here. Okay? อ่ะเหนื่อยครับ explain this a little bit more to see the whole picture of how the saliva release. And then once you see that, and then I'm gonna let you see the whole structure. Okay? If this is a submandibular ganglion, I say that okay. You remember when we're talking about the lesser pituitary nerve? Lesser pituitary nerve go from where? Lesser pituitary nerve is pass through by nerve 9, right? Nerve 9. Lesser pituitary nerve pass the element ovale and give the fiber to the otic ganglion. Otic ganglion. After otic ganglion, give the post ganglionic fiber to auriculotemporal nerve. Stimulate palatic gland. Why the B3? B3 is what? B3 is mandibular nerve. Mandibular nerve is called. They give this part auriculotemporal nerve. They give lingual nerve. This lingual nerve is give right to the tongue by the chest fiber, but the thing that we have the facial nerve that give the carotid go with the lingual, and what this part is going by the chest. This goes by the chest to the anterior two-thirds, but some fiber is go to the submandibular ganglion and go to the submandibular gland. Why another one is after go to the carotid. It go sign up the same thing and then give the fiber right back to the sublingual gland. So the story is how the saliva stimulate. This is how the saliva stimulate and how the saliva stop. How the saliva stop. This is the superior cervical ganglion. The same thing. The same thing that the sympathetic fiber is preganglionic fiber is short or long? Short, right? You can see that it's short. And then postganglionic fiber is long, very long. After they give the postganglionic fiber, they go to the same thing. They pass through the ganglion, but they don't synapse anymore because this is after synapse. After synapse, they pass through the ganglion and then go to sublingual gland and submandibular gland. They do the same thing. They go to the same direction, but they action antagonists. Okay? They stop. Okay, too much water. Stop. The superior cervical gland is the one that stop it. Okay? And how about the palatic gland? They do the same thing. They keep the postganglionic fiber past otic ganglion, but they don't synapse. They go to the palatic gland, and then they stop. Okay, that is the whole story. I try to tell you the structure, anatomy. We see the picture. That's it. This is the story of the whole thing that I want you to know when the saliva stimulate. So the submandibular gland they have where is it? Just go back and then you can take a look at this kind of picture, okay? So then I prepare this type of thing for you to just kind of go back and take a look. But the submandibular gland is just right here. Okay, because we teach already that the palatic duct is opening in the oral cavity already, so then I don't mention it, okay? This is how we do the incision for the patient that they have to do palatectomy, but just kind of let you know a little bit that sometimes we have to handle it. So the submandibular gland, where is it? ถ้าสมมติว่าตอนที่เปิด when you open the cadaver, you see the submandibular gland, where is it? Here, around here, right? Around here. It's big enough. If you open this, you see the mylohyoid here. You see the genial hyoid here. So the submandibular มันเป็นเหมือนกิ๊บหนีบแบบกิ๊บหนีบ some kind of clip. You see that? The submandibular gland, one part is put on, is part of them is on the floor of the mouth, is on the mylohyoid. And sublingual and submandibular gland also have the opening. The opening is submandibular. The duct is just right here. You see, go together, and you see sublingual here, and then go with the duct in this area. Opening of the submandibular gland, the submandibular duct is what? What is the opening? เดี๋ยวนับดิ้งขึ้นมาทำได้ปะฮะ What is it? The opening of submandibular duct. เคยได้ยินคาลังโคไหมคาลังโค I told you already คาลังโค Okay, so this is the structure. And submandibular, sublingual is also the and on top of this, and then they give some kind of opening here. We call the duct of Livinus in this picture. You see, the lingual sublingual gland is just right here. The submandibular duct is just go to this, and then you can see the opening of submandibular duct here. That's it. Go back and then see that you can see Wharton duct open here, and duct of Livinus open under the teeth, the lower teeth here. So I don't want to waste time more. We go back to see this one.
Now that we've looked at the teeth, we'll move on to look at the glands that produce saliva, the salivary glands. There are 3 salivary glands.
Yeah, three
The
salivary
bottom
gland.
on the side of the face, the submandibular gland beneath the body of the mandible, and the sublingual gland in the floor of the mouth. We'll look at the parotid gland first. Part of the parotid gland lies superficially in the posterior part of the cheek. Part of it lies deep in the space between the ramus of the mandible and the sternocleidomastoid muscle. We'll look at the deep part first. To look at the deep part of the parotid gland, we'll start with a dissection in which the whole of the gland has been removed. This is a good opportunity to see, all in one place, a number of structures that we've learned about separately. Let's take a good look round. Here's the posterior border of the ramus of the mandible. Here's the zygomatic arch. Here's the external auditory meatus. Here's the mastoid process. Here's the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Here's the masseter muscle. Here's the space that's occupied by the deep part of the parotid gland. Here's the posterior belly of the digastric muscle, lying deep into the sternocleidomastoid. Here's the styloid process and the stylohyoid muscle. Here, emerging behind the styloid process, is the trunk of an important nerve, the facial nerve. The facial nerve, which provides the motor innervation to all the muscles of facial expression, has an important relationship to the parotid gland. It runs right through it, dividing into several branches as it does so. Now that we've seen the space that's occupied by the deep part of the parotid gland, we'll add the deep part of the gland to the picture. Here's the cut surface of the parotid gland. Again, here are the sternocleidomastoid muscle, the masseter, and the ramus of the mandible. Before we add the superficial part of the parotid gland, we'll add the facial nerve to the picture. Here's the trunk of the facial nerve, entering the parotid gland from behind. The branches of the facial nerve fan out, upwards, forwards, and downwards. We'll take a more complete look at the facial nerve in the next tape in the series. Here, we're concerned only with its relationship to the parotid gland. Now we'll add the superficial part of the gland to the picture. Here it is. The superficial part of the parotid gland covers the posterior part of the masseter muscle. Its extent varies. It usually extends up as far as the zygomatic arch and down to the angle of the mandible. It can also overlap the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. The saliva that's secreted by the parotid gland passes into the parotid duct, which emerges from the anterior border of the gland and passes forward around the anterior border of the masseter. The parotid duct enters the oral cavity by passing through the buccinator muscle and through the underlying mucous membrane at about the level of the second upper molar tooth. Next, we'll look at the submandibular gland. The submandibular gland lies under the posterior part of the body of the mandible. We'll start by looking at a dissection in which the gland has been removed. Again, we'll take the opportunity to review the bony and muscular anatomy. Here's the body of the mandible. Here's the body of the hyoid bone. Here's the anterior belly of the digastric. Here's the digastric tendon passing through the stylohyoid muscle. Here's the mylohyoid muscle. Here's the styloglossus. Here, deep to the digastric, is the hyoglossus muscle. Now we'll add the submandibular gland to the picture. Here it is. The submandibular gland curls around behind the free border of the mylohyoid muscle, so that it has a superficial part, which we can see here, and a deep part. To see the deep part, we'll remove the superficial part. Here's the cut edge of the deep part of the submandibular gland, between the mylohyoid and styloglossus muscles. It extends forward to about here. The saliva that's produced by the submandibular gland passes into the submandibular duct, which runs forwards in the floor of the mouth. To see the duct, and also to see the third salivary gland, the sublingual gland, we'll look at a specimen consisting of the mandible, the tongue, and the floor of the mouth. We'll remove the alveolar process, and we'll remove the mucous membrane.
Remove the mucous membrane.
Here, just beneath the mucous membrane, is the sublingual gland, which we'll see in a moment. For now, we'll remove it too, to see the submandibular duct. The submandibular duct runs forward in the floor of the mouth, alongside the base of the tongue. It ends here, just beside the frenum. To see where it starts, we'll go round to the back. Here's the submandibular duct. Here's the submandibular gland. The duct passes forward in the interval between the mylohyoid muscle and the muscles at the side of the tongue, the hyo and styloglossus muscles. Now, we'll go round to the front again and put the sublingual gland back in the picture. The sublingual gland is thin, flat, and somewhat diffuse. It lies alongside the base of the tongue, just lateral to the genioglossus muscle. The saliva formed by the sublingual gland enters the oral cavity by way of several very small openings in the mucous membrane at the floor of the mouth. The openings are too small to see here. Now that we've looked at the salivary glands, we'll move on to complete our picture of the structures around the oral cavity by looking at the pharynx. To understand the lower part of the pharynx, we need to look at two important structures that we haven't seen yet, the thyroid cartilage and the cricoid cartilage. The wall of the pharynx is formed by an almost continuous layer of muscle, lined by mucous membrane. The muscular layer consists of three sheets of muscle, the constrictor muscles, superior, middle, and inferior. These overlap behind, the one above inside the one below. Here's the inferior constrictor. Here's the middle constrictor. Here's the superior constrictor. The superior constrictor is very thin. Its fibers arise from the lower part of the medial pterygoid plate, the hamulus, and the pterygomandibular band, and also from the side of the tongue. The superior constrictor has a free upper border. Above this, the wall of the pharynx is formed by this layer of fascia, the pharyngobasilar fascia. The highest fibers of the superior constrictor insert on the base of the occipital bone. The remaining fibers meet in the midline with the fibers from the opposite side, extending down to here, inside the middle constrictor. Here's the middle constrictor. It's a thicker muscle. The middle constrictor arises from the lesser horn and the greater horn of the hyoid bone.
Lesser horn. Where is
Here's the tip of the greater horn of the hyoid bone. Here's the edge of the lateral thyrohyoid ligament. The fibers of the middle constrictor fan out, meeting with those of the opposite side, from here down to here, inside the inferior constrictor.
That's it. I want you to go back and take a look. So this part that I try to just kind of go back and see this kind of video, and then it helped you a lot. So if you have anything about the question about the salivary gland, there are only three major salivary glands. And other than that is minor salivary gland that we're talking about. The major salivary gland is produced about 90%. And minor salivary gland is produce only 10%. But the difference between, I didn't say that yet. The difference between major salivary gland and minor salivary gland, what is the difference? มีไว้ทำไมอ่ะ major กับ minor What is the difference before we leave class today? One is constant producing, but only 10%, but it's constant producing. But the major salivary gland, they active by the stimulus way after you chewing, but that part is 90%. Okay, that's it for today. ไม่มีบทนี้ไปเลย
นักเรียนเคารพขอบคุณค่ะไปเป็นที่ไหน